is an announcement for anyone who wants to eat alone or do something solo for the first time but is too afraid to do so. If that's you, stay tuned for some tips, some tricks, some inspiration, motivation, just for you. End of announcement. Hey friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Christine, and on this channel, I'll be taking you on my solo adventures, doing things that puts me out of my comfort zone in hopes of inspiring you to go out and do it yourself. I can't English. And today, I'll be sharing some steps with you on how to approach eating alone if you're too afraid to do so, how it will help you get to know yourself better from the experience, and my takeaway from experience such as eating by yourself. But before we start, I'd like to hear about what you'd like to try doing alone. Leave a comment down below and I'd love to hear about it. I'll give you a second to do it. Are you done? Okay, let's get back to the video. Some of the clips you'll be seeing in this video is my experience going to Pear Tree. It is a fine dining restaurant here in Vancouver. It closed down last year, so I decided to just go by myself. Step number 1, figuring out your why. Maybe you're just sick of waiting for your friends to go eat with you, or it's been on your list for a while and you're tired of being a little
scared.
For me, I wanted to challenge myself and be uncomfortable. Instead of inviting someone else, I decided to go by myself. Whatever your why is, stick with it, think about it, don't forget it, and you'll be good. Step number 2, decide where you want to go. There's really only 2 choices here, and it's kind of a no shit Sherlock moment. You can either go to a place that you frequent, you know the place, you know what you like to order. There's nothing strange or scary about it. The only difference is you're alone. The negative, that is 99.9% not going to happen, but it is still a possible negative, is you somehow fuck up so bad that you can never return to this place ever again because you can't show your face at this restaurant that you love because you are an embarrassment. And now you have to act like that restaurant never existed. It's a little dramatic, but it's probably not gonna happen. You're most likely just gonna feel really awkward. Chances are you'll come back to this place. Your second choice can be a place that you've never been before. Try not to choose a place you've always wanted to try, because if it's good and you feel awkward coming back, maybe that's a bad idea. So the positive of going to a place you've never been to before is that if you do embarrass yourself, or if you somehow just mess things up that bad, at least you never have to come back there. It's like it never existed. That building right there just vanished. Restaurant what? Never heard of it. Don't know about it. So that's the positive. The negative for going to a place you don't know is how awkward it is going to be. It is a whole new environment. It makes you a little bit more intimidated because you don't really know what to expect. So those are your 2 places you can go to. Choose wisely. Honestly, whichever one you choose, it's not the end of the world. After the first few minutes, you'll be fine. Step number 3, just do it. After you get the first 2 steps down, just go for it. If you have those 2, like why you want to do it and where you want to go down, one of the days where you just have no one to go with, or you just want to suddenly get yourself out of funk or do something different, you already know where to go. The scariest part and the hardest part is the anticipation of doing something. Your overthinking, over-planning, over-analyzing actually makes something that's quite simple harder than it looks. Don't think too much. Just go with it. The more you think, the harder it gets. I think a fear that people have is that others are looking at them. It might feel like it the first little bit. How many times were you at a restaurant having a conversation and your eyes just wander over to other people or their tables? Or it happens. They're not staring at you and going,
look at that person, they're eating alone, what a loser.
If you are awkward, just go on your phone, scroll if you want. When you feel a little bit better, just put down your phone, Or you can, if it's really awkward for you, just do it the whole way. So after you're done, you're just gonna feel proud of yourself that you even did something that challenged yourself. It kind of shakes up your world a little bit. If you've never done it, it's an accomplishment. If you just had a bad experience, at least you can say, I tried it, I hate it, not for me. You probably don't know what to expect, so I'm just gonna tell you what may happen. I'm gonna base it off my pear tree experience just because I'd say it's quite similar to a first time dining experience. Actually, pear tree was a little more intimidating than my experience going to a sushi restaurant that I went to for years. So when I walked into the restaurant, I walked to my table and I looked around. There were about, I think, 5 tables minus the 6th one. I was in the middle of the restaurant, and at every table it was like either couples or groups. I was shaking. My hands were shaking. I am so awkward. The first like 10 minutes I was kind of shaking. My hands were actually shaking. And then I calmed down a bit. It was good. After the food came out, you have distractions, you have things to do. And for me, I decided that it would be beneficial to not be on my phone, which made things a little bit harder. I wasn't letting myself scroll to distract myself from the awkwardness. So I just kept sipping my water awkwardly. But you just need to remember, no one's watching you, no one gives a crap about you. They're probably just looking around to see who's in the restaurant. They're not actually like,
hello, Lunar.
if you can, I would recommend not going on your phone. It's just a whole different experience when you're not distracted by Instagram for the whole hour. So why should you try this?
And why do I even want to go eat alone? I have friends. I'm not you, Christine.
When you challenge yourself to do something solo, you learn a whole lot about yourself. When you're with other people, stuff is always just happening. Something happens, you react to it, or someone says something, you think about it, but you really only have a few seconds to think. Is that really enough time to digest or to fully see how you feel about something? So when I eat alone, I'll do something and then I have a second to be like, wait, why am I reacting this way? What is causing this fear? And in that moment, you're able to kind of process in your head, okay, is this fear a valid fear, or is this what I want to feel right now? I'm just training myself to get over the discomfort, to be more comfortable in these awkward situations. Our fear comes from the fear of others' judgment. And when you do things alone like this and you have a second to analyze your reaction, it's just building you up to be more confident. If you don't take the time to get to know who you are, it's hard to be confident. So when you do things alone, you understand why you're reacting a certain way, and then if you experience it again in the future, you can shut it down faster. No one really knows themselves that well. It's easy to identify things, your likes, dislikes, but do you know why you are the way you are? Do you take a second to understand your feelings? I feel like we don't. And once again, it is hard to do in a group setting. You have to constantly remind yourself to like yourself. And to like yourself, you have to get to know yourself. You have to have more self-compassion. You have to understand who you are. And doing things alone gives you a chance to really observe and get to know yourself. A second reason why I think you should try this is once most of the nerves are gone, you'll probably have a freaking blast. You might do silly things and just laugh at yourself. I forgot how to eat bread. I sat there and I was like, should I eat this bread with a fork and a knife, or should I just use my hands? A normal person would just use their hands. Use the knife and spread the butter on your bread and eat it. But this girl did not, let's be all classy and just use a fork and a knife. And then the moment I started eating it or started trying cutting it, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, why am I overthinking something so simple? And maybe you're not an overthinker like me, but if you're an overthinker, you know. So you might have a blast just laughing at yourself, doing random things, thinking random things. And for the third thing, at the end of all of this, you are most likely going to be so proud of yourself for even doing it. It's a baby step to being more comfortable with the uncomfortable. That was my experience. I learned quite a bit about myself from that 1 hour. I hope you have the chance to do that too. Just remember, the scariest part is going there and walking through the door. And the first few minutes of sitting there. After that, you're fine. You're there. And you're gonna realize really quickly that, hey, it's not that bad and no one's watching me. And once you're done, you're gonna feel so good. So I'm challenging you guys to go out there and do something solo for the first time. Whatever it was that you guys wrote down in the comments, whatever it is that you're thinking of right now, do it. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video about solo eating. And until next time, I'm Christine, and this is Explore with Lee, where you go on solo adventures with me doing random shit like going camping by myself. That is a thing. There is a video. It is coming your way.